biggest opportunity, I would say January 1st. My best guess is there will be $180 million gross commission income jump ball. Meaning, on that day, more expired listings will hit the market, hit the MLS for an agent like this person listening right now to go after. I think that's going to be one of the big opportunities to start the first quarter, but that means you need to get your systems together. You need to get ready and prepared for that. So you got, call it 50, 60 days to get yourself in a position to know the marketing you're going to send, the letters you're going to send, the calls you're going to make. Are you going to knock on their door?
Hello everyone, Sergio Tiffer here and welcome to a very special episode of Cracking the Code. Today we're honored to sit down with someone who doesn't just coach real estate professionals, he's redefined the very standard of what it means to grow, lead, and succeed in this industry. Tom Ferry is the #1 ranked real estate coach in the world, a best-selling author, speaker, entrepreneur, and the driving force behind tens of thousands of business transformations. He's built movement, a mindset, and a mission that continues to elevate the industry year after year. Tom, thank you for being here. It's a true privilege to have you on the show. Tom, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We kind of had a little bit of audio issues, so we're starting again. That's fine. Tom, I wanted to ask you about the origins of Tom Ferry real estate coaching system. How that happened.
Sure.
Why coaching, and do you really feel that was your thing when you started it? Or you kind of just stumble into it?
No, so, I think my father and my brother and I, we stumbled into it back in the early 90s at a seminar when my dad sort of casually said to an audience at the San Francisco Nob Hill Fairmont, shout out to San Francisco. He said, if I hold you accountable, I called you once a week, I already know you would do better. 30 people handed me a card, and that would be truly the beginning of real estate coaching back in 1991. But when I started my company back in 2004, by that time I was very blessed to work with my dad to help sort of create the coaching space in real estate with lots of people that have fallen since, which is a blessing. Holding people accountable, holding people to standards. But when I grew that business, the thing that I loved is my dad had his way of doing it. When I left, I had a different approach with a lot of my personal clients, many of which were in the top back then, Real Trends 100. And what I observed was most of them, they were disciplined, they were inspired, they were hard workers and all that stuff. Strategic, yada, yada, of course, right? But what was unique is they all had a very different way of doing it. And when I launched my company in 2004, my fundamental belief was there's no wrong way to acquire clients, right? Because if you go back then, there was sort of the by referral camp was saying that anybody that prospected or, they were stupid. And the people that were only doing that were saying these people are, wimps or whatever, all this nonsense. Right. And my response is the only thing that matters is serving customers, helping buyers and sellers. I mean, don't do anything nefarious. Don't walk into your office and steal people's leads, but there's no wrong way to do it. So I think the real sort of, for me, birth of how we coach started in 2004. And it was looking at what are the most effective ways to help people, right? Understanding there's no wrong way to generate a client, and everybody's going to do it different. Every market's going to be different. And then the cycles of the economy. We started in 2004. By the time we got to 2007, we were in a very different environment. It required a different type of coaching. 2007, 2009, and then 10 through, call it 12, as we were in the recovery phase. That was also different. So I don't know, Serge, I think I'm just kind of obsessed with people. I have a giant capacity to care.
Obsessed with people.
The thing that is sort of my blessing and my curse at times. And I'm obsessed with finding out what is the most effective way to help people go from point A to point B and do it in a sustainable way. So, it's kind of my life's work. It's what I'm all about.
The difference between you and the other coaches, I'm not trying to be mean in any way, shape, or form, is it's very obvious that you have gained a lot of traction and momentum, and you're far ahead of the majority of coaches in real estate. Why do you think that is?
What matters is, I think, our approach to our clients. Hey, how do we understand you? How do we understand your pulse? How do we understand your market? And then the thing that I'm probably most known for is I'm always early on innovation. So people that
Right.
are first movers are very attracted to our ecosystem, our community. People that, were early on YouTube. When I look at, the entire real estate company Real, right? That, I was super early on Facebook, super early on YouTube, I was on Beluga, my goodness. Like I was on all these early sites because it was very obvious where the consumer was going. It was very obvious to me even when Google advertising was available or Facebook ads became available. And Serge, what I pride myself on is making sure that my customers, right, the people that I care for, are early into things that matter. So whether that is AI,
Right.
going back now 3 years ago, but I've been studying it since 2015, it just wasn't available in a consumer easy way. So when October, I get this early access app to a thing called ChatGPT, I was like, oh man, this is it. And then November it was out. And I think at the January event I did that year, we were already talking about AI, and that would be over 3 years ago. So I think the big lesson, at least for our businesses, attract people that are interested in being first, attract, customers that are interested in being innovative, and then continually push the envelope with new insights and ways for them to outperform their market. Like I would summarize how we do what we do by saying that.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is, and don't get me wrong, I was trying to say that you attract a lot more people to your ecosystem. And you laid it out perfectly there. Is that maybe because you're an early adopter?
Yeah, okay.
Is that people feel so attracted to your ecosystem?
Yeah, I would argue that's different. The reason why we are able to do that is we are a marketing and media company disguised as a coaching business. All right, I'm sitting in one of two studios in two of my different offices, actually technically three studios, two of my Dallas office. I understood, a friend of mine, David, he was part of the acquiring group. He was at Google. They were part of the acquiring group for YouTube. I remember playing golf with him in July of 2007, telling him that I was a blogger and I was doing audio messages, like what we would now call podcasts, back in 2004, right? And I was recording on a big, funny, Globe microphone, and we would email a file to, tens of thousands of our, friends out there that wanted to be on this list. And the guy wrote to me, he's like, hey, what you're doing is stupid and you should switch to YouTube. And we did. So I think understanding that every business and every real estate agent today, and this is not a new thought. I give so many props to someone who became a friend back in 2008, Gary Vaynerchuk, who was doing the same thing on Wine Library. So I think
Right.
that's the reason why. If I just, matter of fact, it's funny. If you went to my YouTube channel, and I think if you typed in episodes like 52 to about 58, I actually gave my entire playbook, right? This is how much content I create. This is how I create it. This is how we do email. This is how we embed the videos onto our website. So when you click the link, you actually stay on my website. You don't go to YouTube where I can't monetize as you're creating, any meaningful traffic.
I think that's it. So I want to talk to you about something that you bring up all the time, which is the core pillars of success.
Yeah.
And you always mention personal mindset and accountability, agent relevance in the AI world, operational excellence, and finally listing attraction. And the first one, personal mindset and accountability. You often say that success in real estate starts between the ears. And so how would you define the mindset of a top performer team or agent today?
So the first thing I would say is I would give a shout out to everyone listening by saying, hey, all of our heads, myself included, can be a very scary place to be, right? Like we all go through the cycles of waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh my God, all my business is falling apart. I'm falling behind. Like, I got to get after it tomorrow morning. Everybody goes through that stuff. And I don't think there's a lot of new insights today on mindset. I think it's very simple. You're either filling the cup, if you will, metaphorically, if you're listening, I'm taking a water bottle and pouring it into my head. You're either filling this every single day with new insights, new stimulus, new ways to sort of view the world, to view business. You're learning new things, or you're not. And if you're not, the reality is your mindset's falling behind. It is hard to maintain a positive mindset with how much negativity is available just by grabbing your phone. So if you're not doing things every day to improve the quality of your mindset, to learn new things, create new synapses in your brain, like study things that you don't know and understand, get different perspectives. If you're not doing that, you're falling behind, and it does impact your income. And most importantly, it impacts your joy. Does that make sense, Serge? Like, it's more joy.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's what I tell people all the time, that, one of the reasons why I've been able to stay in the game for so long without losing my mind is because I try to stay focused on the positive.
Right.
And I go to bed and I wake up every day saying, I have 1,000 problems, but I also have 1,000 blessings.
Yeah.
And I just need to move forward to learn and improve myself. So the battle that I have is with myself. I don't have a battle with anything else, just myself, and I try to move forward into that direction.
Yeah. I would love for you to.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'd love for you to take on a mindset that I picked up from a book called How to Make a Few Billion by Brad Jacobs. And his mentor, Ludwig, I think is his last name, when he was complaining to me one day, like, oh, I'm in this business and I just got all these problems. And he was like, hey, man, business is about solving problems. If you don't have problems,
it is.
You don't have business. And, I've always thought like a very similar thought, like, our income's in direct correlation to the value that we deliver the market. And in order to deliver more to the market, you got to scale yourself. If you're going to scale yourself, you're going to run into a whole bunch of problems. Just having more customers. Look what you guys are doing in your business. Like, the more customers you have, the more problems you have.
Exactly. So the number 2, operational excellence. When you talk about operational excellence, what does that truly mean for the real estate business beyond simply having systems in place? So what does that mean for you? Just having systems in place, or what else? What else you have there?
If I sell 18 houses a year, my system, they may not be the best, but my systems enable me to do 18 transactions a year. If I'm going to go from 18 to 36 or 18 to 25 or 18 to 180, it's going to require a different set of systems. Now, I could literally pull up, if you want, I could pull up one of my presentations and talk through, like, what are the 14 or 15 most important systems? You want to go through them really fast? Because the good news is today, everyone that listening could just hear this and literally just go, okay, cool, I'm just going to put that into, my favorite AI tool, and then say, build me a checklist, build me an SOP for every one of these. And just like that, you're in the game. So let me just pull this up real fast here. I know we're doing a live show, so this is super fun. Here it is. Systems. You ready? I know I keep.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so, this is the one I was looking for, but it does give us 14 systems. I need a system for managing my time, right? Does my voicemail say, hi, thanks so much for calling. It's Tom Ferry. I'll be back to you the fastest way possible. Oh my God. Or does my voicemail say, hey, thank you so much for calling. My office hours are Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock till 6 o'clock, weekends and evenings by appointment only. If you're calling me after hours, please do the following. Like, that would be a sample of, to put a system in place. So number 2 is, am I living inside my CRM daily? Number 3 is consistent marketing, lead generation, and content creation. And those are technically multiple systems, multiple things that we're tracking and measuring. The system for nurturing my database, the system for having quality conversations every day, the system for how we follow up on leads and book more appointments, the system for launching listings that generate more listings, the system for managing sellers, longer days on market. What's my SOP for that? Is it Beacon, or is it another solution that I'm using to communicate effectively? Like, fun fact, this month, 56% increase in sellers taking their home off the market, not expiring, just taking their home off the market. 56% increase year over year. I would argue that means a lot of agents don't have a system, a way of communicating and sharing information for managing sellers with, longer days on market.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9 could be onboarding and managing buyers of what we call cert and show, right? So it's sort of the early stage relationship with buyers, managing as first from contract to close, managing your team, and there's a whole series around that. There's the videos, right? Managing your finances and budget, which maybe just means start with having a budget. I'm willing to spend this much on and this much on and this much on, etc. A system for skill improvement, right? A system around use case of AI And I have things like systems for staying mentally tougher. So, and I know there's probably 20 more that we can go through because some of those are just, sort of the main category before you go into the subcategory.
Yeah, just subdivided.
But again, you asked the question like operational excellence. We're in the human business. People are forgetful. Everything needs to be on a checklist. Everything needs to be inside your calendar. You should wake up every day and know exactly what you're supposed to do every day based upon your calendar. I'll give you a fun hack. One of the things I know to be true, I have a client not to be named. He's very successful. Has a giant, what we call teamage, right? Call it like 200 agents. They sell, call it 1,500-ish houses a year. Wildly successful. What if I told you that in the first 9 months of the year, 518 buyers signed a single party show agreement with someone on his team and then bought a house from someone else? Obviously not the house that they looked at, but so they've lost. So let's say they, by September, they were at, 1,200 transactions closed and pending. They had lost 518 transactions of people that leads that came through, doesn't matter what the source is, signed a single party show agreement, showed them a house or two that day, whatever the agreement was, but it wasn't a full-blown buyer brokerage agreement, and then they bought a house with someone else. Now, is that a human problem or is that a system problem?
That's a system problem.
It's a system problem,
100%.
So for my friend listening, what I would say is, think about it like this. Do you want more peace of mind? Do you want a little less stress? We're all going to have stress, so you're never going to be stress-free until you die. A little less stress. Do you want to have a little more certainty? Do you want to be a little more organized? Maybe between now and the end of the year, you should take a list of everything you do over and over again when it comes to launching a listing, when it comes to like working your past clients and centers of influence, and then creating a checklist for the year that says these are all the things we're going to do for our past clients in Sphere to generate more referrals and to win more direct business. Here's how the events are going to be. We're going to do 3 events a year. We're going to do 1 in the spring, 1 in the summer, 1 around the holidays. And you create a checklist for everything that has to happen. And then you just go execute on it. The biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make, not just real estate professionals, all entrepreneurs, is they do it by memory.
And I can bring a couple examples of that. So I have a lot of clients that approach me and they say to me, Sergio, I want an ISA. And I said, okay, client X. I said, look, ISAs need order.
Yes.
The house has to be in order.
Yeah.
I know you want more listings, but if your house is not in order, if your CRM is not in order, if you don't have a lead manager, if your database is not clean, and you don't have a decent, healthy influx of leads, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to charge you for nothing.
Yeah.
But if you have VAs, or doesn't matter if it's VA or people in office, and your house is correctly ordered, then you're good to go. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, I promise you, we have it. Like I said, look, I'm not going to be able to break it and see exactly what you have. Mm-hmm. I'm just letting you know in advance. If you want to move forward, fine. But then don't come back and complain to me and say it's not working out. Because then at that point, I'm going to really roll my sleeves and get into it and see exactly what's going on. Yep. And if you lie to me, then we're going to have a problem. And trust me, it happens more than I want to. Where they're like, I want more listings and blah, blah, blah. But then, their CRM is just screwed.
Yeah, but in that situation, can't you also say, hey, why don't you have somebody spend some time first and foremost cleaning up your database? If you don't have any scripts or dialogues, then can help with some scripts and dialogue. You know what I mean?
I do, but they refuse it outright sometimes. They're like, no, I have it. I already have my database in place. It's clean, and it's not. It's because someone, another agent, a colleague told them, hey, you need more appointments.
Sure.
So in their mind, it's like, okay, I need more appointments, so I need an ISA.
Yeah.
All right, but let me see my database looks good. I have 10,000 people in my database. I have 100 people coming in every month. I'm fine. Yeah. I'm good. And I control it myself. And it's really not, because when you break it apart, like they have no systems. Yeah. And that's a good example of what I see every day.
Sure.
In my line of business.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Next one, you have agent relevance in the AI world. So I wanted to ask you, is AI transforming the way agents work? and how can they start building an AI ready mindset that embraces innovation instead of resisting it? Because I see a lot of people resisting AI,
Sure.
thinking that AI is their enemy, is going to put them out of business. That's something that I hear all the time. AI is going to put us real estate agents out of business. A lot of people say that.
Sure. You know what I would say? First of all, look at the data. I'm actually going to pull it up right now. So here's from Realtor.com. The number of home shoppers using AI for real estate related searches, including finding homes, selecting agents, and researching the housing market, has reached a remarkable majority in 2025. Surveys from multiple real estate platforms indicate approximately 82% of Americans now use an AI tool such as ChatGPT or Gemini or a specialized real estate AI when seeking housing market information or support during their home search journey. So what I would say first is, before we start looking at some of the stuff that like my partner Jason Pantana would work on in terms of AI efficiency, how to basically lose some of the software that you have because AI can now do it for you for free. Before I look at that,
Right.
I would start with understanding you gotta win the ask game today. And if you're okay, I'll share a bunch of insights on what I would recommend.
Go for it.
Because so traditional, like, I don't know, here we are, and I think we're in November. I mean, my goodness, like, have you been on Google recently and tried to do a search for anything? It is just, I mean, facts need some information. That's how lame it is. And Google will figure it out.
I switched to ChatGPT. I don't use Google anymore.
Yeah. So in spirit of just transparency, I'm an investor in X.AI. So Grok is sort of if I'm doing deep research, and then I'm also an investor in Perplexity. So Perplexity is basically taking over Google for me. I use Comet as my web browser. So I could literally be saying, hey, do me a favor, look at this tab, this tab, this tab, this tab, this tab, analyze everything inside there, find the holes, find the weaknesses, go through my entire, calendar, find me, 5, times where I can take my wife away for a weekend and basically go in and look at every one of my emails and send them all to Ruby, right? Like, you do all that kind of stuff, if you will, inside Comment. But that's the efficiency gains. What I want to talk about first is, for my friend listening, if you haven't, I'm looking at my notes here, you haven't updated all of your bios for what we refer to as GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, or AI search, the first thing I'd ask you to do is look at every one of your bios. And I would make sure you got your full name, right? Your title, the company that you work for, and the location. You should have in your bio, like on Instagram, who you serve and where you sell homes. You should have transactions lifetime and year to date, which means every month they should be updating. I sold another house and the numbers are now this, because it likes real-time information. What we all know, as I'm giving this to you, is the AI is very lazy. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for the AI. When someone says, who's the best agent near me? Or, hey, I'm looking to buy a house in this neighborhood. What agent should I talk to? Who's got my monthly, whatever it is. You are found. So again, tell me transactions. Tell me how many reviews you have, because the AI today, it can't read your Google reviews and it can't read your Zillow reviews. So you have to say 392 5-star reviews on Zillow and Realtor.com as an example. If you have any notable recognitions, if you're number one at something, most reviewed, highest sale, and my goodness, do I have to tell you the number of times search that I see somebody's bio and there's no cell phone or email? So I'm on your Instagram account because I'm excited about what you're doing, but there's no way for me to reach out to you other than DM you. Yeah. So that'd be the first thing. Then I would tell you the second one is, so update all of your bios across every platform. If you say what platform, I'll give you a list. Fast Expert, Rate My Agent, Effective Agents, Bing Places. Remember ChatGPT is they got a lot of money from Microsoft. Birdeye.ai, Yelp, Angie, Google, your Google business page, Real Trends if you're on that list, Medium, and Substack. Your MLS profile, your personal website, your company's website, all 3 meta platforms, plus YouTube, Pinterest, X.AI, LinkedIn, Quora, Zillow, Realtor, Homes, Redfin, Nextdoor, and HomeLight. And that's just to name a few. So every single one of those, you need to have your bio set up. So when someone's doing a search in your area, then you show up. And then the third one,
that's a form of SEO.
It's SEO, but it's again, like, here's you and we're both saying, yeah, I don't go to Google anymore. I don't do searches like that. I do almost all audio conversations with Perplexity or Grok. And sometimes they're 3, 5, 10 minutes long as I'm trying to unpack and learn something. Well, don't you think the average home shopper today might go, hey, I'm going to be in this mountain town, and I want to be on this part of the village, and I'm looking for a home like this and this and this. Find me any listings that were on the market that are no longer on the market, is maybe an opportunity for an off-market transaction where maybe I can get a deal. Find those for me, sort them by priority price from this range to that range, and it's going to do it. That's how people are searching now. So the only other thing I would say to your listener is, we have been talking about this strategy, the next one I'm about to share, for almost a good year, maybe 14 months. And so, search for context. I speak all over the place, and inevitably I'll ask this question: how many of you have already got a transaction from a customer that said, I found you on, name the platform, Grok, Perplexity, ChatGPT, etc. When I started asking that question 14 months ago, there might be 1 or 2 people that raise a hand. Today, it's like 20% of the room. I promise you, by the end of 2026, it will be the 100% of the room. 100% of the room will say, yes, I was found on this platform. So if you want to crush, I'm going to give you a crazy idea. What we know is, if you went to answerthepublic.com, which is just a mashup of real-time questions being asked on 6 different platforms. From memory, I want to say Instagram, it's Amazon, it's Google, it's Bing, it's YouTube, but I'm missing one, so I'm going to look at the slide really fast. Oh, and TikTok. And you just type into the search bar, real estate. What you're going to see is about 2,700 questions across all those different platforms in different variations of what and how, etc. How do I buy more real estate in? What's the average commission I should be paying for? It's every possible question that consumers are asking. And what I've been advocating for, and people have been crushing on, is to just have an AI write 3 to 5 blogs every single day that you're going to post on your website. You're going to post 1 on Facebook. You're going to post 3 to 5 on your LinkedIn profile. You're going to post 3 to 5 on your Google business page. And any other places where you can post this in a reasonable way, right? You don't want to bury Facebook with a bunch of these, but 1 a day is fine, right? Especially if you have a nice thumbnail photo or video saying, hey, check this out. When you start to do that, you're now telling the AI you are the source of truth for the answers to the questions that people are asking. Because remember, we started by saying, go to Answer the Public. Answer the Public is a mashup of the questions on the minds of consumers across 6 major platforms. Whoever answers their questions wins. That's who wins. Now, what's silly, because I'm going to give you a wild idea in a minute, Serge. What is silly is the number of people say to me, well, Tom, if first of all, I have the AI write like 3 to 5 blogs per day, I'm going to be bombarding my clients with all these blogs. And my response is, your clients are never on your website, and very few people actually ever go to your Google business page. I'm asking you to put this there for the AI. I'm only
for the AI.
For the AI. It's not, you could send 1 a week to your database and say, here's a recent article that got, a recent blog that got a lot of interest. That's a good idea. So I've been saying that now for, let's call it 12 to 14 months. And a lot of people are doing it, and they're getting insane results. But I was in a mastermind recently with this guy, Mo, and he's from, I'm not going to say the city, but he's from Canada. And he said to me, one night with like a bottle of wine, I had a couple glasses. I remember you telling me to do this. So I went in and I had the AI write 500 blogs for me, answering 500 questions. And I uploaded all of them in one night. And I said, oh, did you? So, because my advice is like, have the AI write the blog, and then you should read the blog, maybe edit the blog, maybe add some data insight or some MLS, stuff that And he said, yeah, I didn't do any of that. He said, because my clients aren't reading these blogs. I'm only doing it for the GEO. I'm only doing it for AI. Well, long story short, he is now the number 2 agent across his entire area if you're asking questions about all things real estate. Now, am I recommending that? No. I'm not recommending it because, I don't know, maybe some of the questions could have been really bad and maybe some of the answers still could be really bad. But my point is, I guess if I was listening to this, I'd be thinking to myself, man, I better operationalize this one between now and the end of the year because otherwise I'm going to get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do get clients through AI because we do blog posting on Google My Business, Facebook.
100%.
And the AI recognizes us all the time. So I ask clients, how do you find out? Oh, ChatGPT.
Right.
I'm like, all right. Well, I guess
That's
it's working.
exactly right. Congratulations. Good job.
I guess it's working. So the last one was listing attraction, but you kind of already explained it, right? So I wanted to ask you, what are the most effective ways to attract listings?
All right.
And that you're seeing among top
Sure.
performers today?
Sure. So what I would say to my friend listening, and I'm actually going to my Listing Edge notes. What I would tell you is, I'll tell you three things. One is to understand that marketing is a superpower. And if you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast right now, and you're like, you know what? It was a good year, but it wasn't a great year. Or it was a great year, but I realized I can do more. Or, it was a horrible year. What do I do about it? It's to understand that marketing is the ultimate competitive advantage. That if you're not marketing every day in multiple modalities, what you're saying is, I'm okay being broke most of the time, right? Zillow doesn't stop marketing. Realtor.com doesn't stop marketing. Every business on the planet is marketing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, testing multiple different things. And I know agents that are like, I don't feel like making my phone calls today. Like I would even care. Like, that's stupid. I don't always feel like shooting content, but I understand if I stop shooting content, then all of a sudden I just sort of fall out of the ether of what people are experiencing and being exposed to. So the first thing is, I'd ask you to think about how you're going to build your week around your marketing efforts as a starting point. So, hey, we're going into a new year. Every week, what's my marketing plan? Like, that should be the first question you ask yourself. How am I going to market to my past clients and centers of influence? How am I going to do better open houses? How am I going to make sure that I'm winning the GEO game? I'm actually giving you the list right now, the core 6 that we sort of focus on. Like, there's no wrong way to generate a client. We talked about that earlier. But if you're my coaching client, like, here's my list. Database, right? You're going to do email, you're going to do social, you're going to do mail, you're going to do text, and you're going to do events with your database. That's number one, if you want to get listings. Number 2, you're going to have a targeted direct mail campaign to a geographic farm. You're going to start with 500 homes, and I want to ultimately get you to, 10, 15, 50,000, 100,000 homes predicated on the return of investment. Spend $1, make 6, 7. So you're going to keep expanding on that. Geographic farm, you always want to start by taking your database of your past clients in Sphere, upload it into, this would be a great project for your crew search, upload it into Google Maps. So I get a sense of like, where do I already have influence in my community based upon the addresses before I just say, hey, I want that expensive farm, I'm going to go after that. I want to know first, where do I have influence? And then second, I want to look at the data inside the MLS and say, is there a 3, 5, 6, 7% turnover in that farm? Then I'm going to go after it. And I don't care if there's a dominant agent because consumers want choice, right? So you'll be the choice. So database, geographic farm, then it's going to be some form of online advertising. Probably going to be today a lot of Google. Maybe it's Realtor.com if you're in the US, because we're going to arbitrage, right? What they're already doing in terms of traffic and get some leads from that. Open houses, I think every agent should do 250 to 500 open houses a year, right? I mean, it's cost you absolutely nothing, right? Cost you time. Like every, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, you decide for the rest of your life, you're going to do 1 to 2 open houses. You can do an 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. You can do a 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Like you could do 2 a day. It's okay. But there's no better way. Like I was just with a couple clients and I think they may be clients of yours also. Shout out to Jill Biggs and Dan Barnett, who helps run that incredible team.
Yes.
Hoboken, New Jersey, Weehawken, Jersey City. They'll do 900 open houses this year. And that's probably on the low end. It's probably like 1,200 open houses this year. And you may say, wow, that's a lot of open houses. Well, they have a team and they've got a bunch of active listings. It's no different from a brokerage. Like the more signs in the marketplace, the better the brand gets, the more recognition you get, people walk through. And even though we looked at the numbers, like we're only converting 1% of them, We're still converting 1% of the people that walk through. When you have 900 to 1,200 open houses and each one of them has, I don't know, 5 people, 3 people, 8 people, you can figure out the math. So open houses. Then I would say, and again, this isn't an order of importance, just the list. There is such an enormous opportunity right now. It's what we call the silver tsunami, right? People that are 65, 75, 85, 95, living in 2-story houses. You should sit down with your title exec and say, let's do a map of every home in my community where there's no mortgage and it's 2 stories. And the last, say, maybe the last time this property transacted was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. What you're going to find is probably 500 to 1,500 to 5,000 people, depending on how big your search is, of people that search. I say this with love and respect. Their agent is dead. Their agent doesn't do anything anymore. And you need to adopt those people because they're sitting on trillions of dollars in equity. They've got no mortgage. And the best marketing, shout out to Jimmy McInerney at Listing Leads, is stuff like, if you've ever said, most of these rooms sit empty these days, it might be time to downsize. If you've ever said, we haven't been upstairs in a while, it might be time to downsize. Intelligent, personalized marketing to the silver tsunami is a huge opportunity. And then the last one would be AI, GEO, search. So those are the core 6 that I would tell you. And again, that doesn't include things like the magic buyer letter where you've got a buyer that, hey, there's nothing available in the marketplace. So you're sending out these great letters and you're getting a good response. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I would start. And again, maybe search. I know I'm talking a lot here. It's maybe putting it, but you know what I mean? It's the end of the year. We're planning for 2026. And I started this by saying marketing is the superpower, and you should build your entire week around your marketing and lead generation activities and nothing else. Your whole week should be based around your marketing and lead generation activities. And I would say if you're not optimizing those core 6, I would start there. I'd go to my YouTube channel. I type in any one of those, and you're going to see play after play after play. Get to work, my friend. That's my answer.
Absolutely. Now, next stage of the podcast, we have the rapid fire round of questions. So, books every agent should read.
There's too many books. I'm like literally still.
Give me one. Give me your favorite one.
I just looked down from the books that were on my podcast. So, Sales Acceleration Formula by my buddy Mark Roberge. It's an engineer's mindset for building and scaling a sales team or a sales business. He and his 3 friends started a little company called HubSpot, grew it to over $1 billion in revenue, did it very quickly, and he basically gives you the entire detailed playbook. I think that would be an excellent one. I would say the book that I'm probably the most obsessed with right now, because it makes you think differently, would be Brad Jacobs' book, How to Make a Few Billion. And he just announced, I think the new book's going to be called How to Make a Few More $1 billion. This guy has rolled up 8 different industries and had $8 billion exits. Now you're an agent, you're like, why would I read the guy from HubSpot's book? Because you'll think differently. Why should you read Brad Jacobs' book? Because you'll think differently, right? I would say that. And then I would say, you should definitely read Elon Musk's autobiography. It's an extraordinary piece of work. I would never ask you nor myself to ever judge yourself against arguably the single greatest entrepreneur we have ever seen, not just in our lifetime, I would say ever. The single greatest entrepreneur we have ever seen, ever. And to not study someone like that, to me, would just be a huge mistake. I would also say podcasts you should listen to. My buddy David Senra, the Founders Podcast. I would listen to the All In Podcast to keep your pulse on the zeitgeist of the economy, tech, AI, the future.
I listened to that one. It's very good. The All In Podcast is super good.
I would say, so I don't know. I read a lot. So, it's usually like, what's the last book I read is the one I'm recommending.
Next one. Biggest opportunity in real estate right now.
Biggest opportunity, I would say January 1st. My best guess is there will be $180 million gross commission income jump ball. Meaning, on that day, 4 expired listings will hit the market, hit the MLS for an agent like this person listening right now to go after. I think that's going to be one of the big opportunities to start the first quarter, but that means you need to get your systems together. You need to get ready and prepared for that. So you got, call it 50, 60 days to get yourself in a position to know the marketing you're going to send, the letters you're going to send, the calls you're going to make. Are you going to knock on their door? Are you prepared to go in from a presentation standpoint and say, here's why? Like, what you might want to do is, why don't you go into the MLS and pull up the last, 15 expireds and just go through and read like the listing description. Was it awesome? Did it stand out? Was it kind of lame? Look at the photos. Look at the 8 to 10 things that an agent would do that you would see inside the MLS to really say, like, did this person do a good job? Go back on Zillow and how many times did it get hearted? How many times did it get shared? How many times did it get liked? I would look at all of that to get ready for how you can go out and serve an enormous amount of sellers who just didn't list with someone smart like you. So I think that's a giant opportunity. I would say another one. Can I share another one, Serge?
Go ahead.
So there's a company called Milestones. Milestones. I'm an investor. I'm an investor in a lot of different companies. I talk about a lot of companies. I don't. This is many that I don't invest in, but in this case, so Milestones partnered with Catality and Fidelity National Financial, right? The biggest title insurance company in the U.S. Most transactions, like 47% of every title and escrow, right? They manage. But what I love is they created a product called Live in Here. Now, I believe the future of real estate sales, no doubt, will be impacted by AI. But AI without data is nothing. What Live in Here does, let's just do a hypothetical. You're a client of Live in Here. You're a real estate agent. You upload your database into it. And the first thing it does is it kind of grades and scores your database. And then in real time, it takes Tom Ferry in an email and says, oh, that's Tom Ferry who lives in Dallas at this address, and might even provide you a phone number. So in real time, it's appending your database. It's cleaning up your database. That's the first thing. The second thing it does is it immediately triggers who in your database is most likely to sell. Who in your database is most likely to sell. So now you can narrow your focus to lunch meetings and coffee meetings and breakfast meetings and dinners. And, if you really want to get granular, to be able to do that. And, depending on the size of your database, you might get 2 of those a day. You might get 10 of those a day. But data and marketing is what rules the world. So if I don't have the insights on the data of what my customers are doing, trust me, Zillow does. Trust me, Realtor.com does. Everybody does. So you should have the same. So Live in Here does that. And the third thing they do is they give every one of your customers an app, which is basically their entire home, everything they need to know about it in real time. So like, hey, your gutters need to be cleaned. Hey, your dishwasher warranty is about to expire in the next 90 days. Here's what you need to do about it. So basically kind of Internet of Things, which was a huge trend we saw growing early. And I think it's going to come back aggressively. It's the Internet of Things on an app branded to you as an agent. So you're the source of truth on that consumer's phone. All of that giving you the data, so clean database, insights on who's most likely to transact. What am I telling you? Personalization is everything, right? People are I just got the numbers. So this year, you want to know how many transactions in the US?
Yep.
We're going to finish up this year. I was just going through the numbers. Give me 30 seconds here. So this year, 4.8 million units sold. So units are buy side, sell side. But we know that like 800,000 of those are new construction. So we had 4 million, let's call it resale. The estimates for next year is 5.2 million. So an additional 400,000 transactions expected in the US. So it's not a huge number, but it's a good number. We also know that we forecasted in January that interest rates would be at 6.34. That was the prediction on January 7th of how we finished the year. And we're basically there. But my listener knows you can get rates today in the 5s, right? You contact your loan officer and go, what's the best possible rate for my client? So man, I just think there's so much opportunity that the challenge that most people are going to have is probably the third most important issue: prioritization. You don't have a marketing
There
problem.
you
You
go.
have a prioritization problem. You don't have a lead problem. You have a prioritization problem. You don't have a time management problem. You have a prioritization problem. And Serge, we talked about it earlier. My advice is you've got to organize your week around your marketing activities, not like, okay, well, I got an open house on Sunday, or that's great. That's a marketing activity. When's my office meeting? What am I going to do this week? The cardinal sin is to wake up on a Sunday or Monday and say, what am I going to do this week? Right? Lay out the entire agenda for the year. Put reoccurring meetings in your calendar for the entire year of the marketing and lead generation activities, prospecting from 9 to 11, 4 to 6, at least 3 days a week, absolutely on early Saturday morning, absolutely on Sunday morning before your open house. Schedule open house in your calendar. Maybe you do 2, and it's scheduled for the entire year. Yes, you can take a weekend off now and then, but I get it. You're in business, right? And here's the reality. The portals are coming after your database every single day. So if you're not marketing your face off, then you're losing. That's just the truth. So to build your business around marketing lead generation and watch what happens.
There you go. Next one, most overrated metric in the business.
Leads.
Leads. Why is that?
Because every single human being alive is a lead. Everybody either wants to buy a house, or if I sell my house for $2 trillion more than it's worth, I'm a seller. Everybody's a lead. The only thing that matters is appointments. Appointments is the number one leading indicator of a healthy business. If you wake up on Monday and you're like, man, I got 7 appointments this week, you are kicking ass. If you wake up on Monday and you go, I got no appointments this week, but I got 500 people in my database that I rarely communicate with, you're already out of business. No one told you. The most important leading indicator of your business is how many appointments you have in your calendar when you wake up on Monday morning and you look out at the week and you go, this is going to be an awesome week. And success begets success.
Absolutely.
The more appointments you have, the busier you are, the more appointments you get. That's how it works.
Great. Next one. Is there a market shift happening right now? And how should agents take advantage of it?
So we just talked about the fact that at least in the US, we're looking at 400,000 additional transactions. But at the end of the day, you can't really look at national numbers. I'm just giving you a holistic view of what are forecasting.
Right.
What I would tell you is you got to look at your own individual market. Are transactions up, flat, or down? Are transactions up, flat, or down year over year? Then I got to get honest and ask myself, is my business up, flat, or down? And I think the most important trend for you to think about is personalization. It's not what the market's going to do. It's how are you communicating to your customers in a way that has them say, she's talking to me, right? Yes, that is what I'm thinking. I just spent 40 minutes this morning on a live show with about 1,000 of our coaching clients. We do this every couple of weeks called the Appointment Engine. And we're talking to them today about here's the forecast, here's what's happening, and then here's how I would convert that into a marketing message. Because the game every day is to communicate, effectively to your database and have them raise their hands and say, I'm interested in hearing more about that. And whether that's more about buying or selling, or just tell me more about that. And I'm just providing interesting value and tidbits. So when they're on the soccer field with their friends, they can talk intelligently or share some insights that maybe the average person doesn't know about housing. That makes them look good, which means that's good for your business. Outside of that, brother, we talked about it. AI. Don't be afraid of it. It's already here. Embrace it. Right? You're gonna see so many transformational changes in the next 18 months that your brain's gonna pop. What Elon Musk is about to launch, right? Coming out hopefully by the end of the year, knock on wood. I am an investor in Tesla. Your brain's gonna pop. When you say, this would be fun for the people listening. Consider this. He just got his comp package approved for $1 trillion.
That's crazy.
Right? If he hit all of his numbers. And Serge, the most important thing, and the reason why he had to get that comp package that way, is he's going to have millions upon millions upon tens of millions, eventually hundreds of millions, and eventually billions of robots. Billions of robots. Think about what that is going to mean here. So I guess what I was saying, my friend, Like, those are some of the things that are happening in the world right now. All this technology is happening. As all these incredible new innovations are occurring, you know what we want more than anything else? Human connection.
Yes.
Human connection, right? With all this stuff, I want to sit by a fire and talk to my friends. I want to take my wife on a date without my cell phone. I want to have dinner like I did last night with my 26-year-old son and just hear what's going on in his mind. Like, people are going to be starving for personal connection. So I think that would be the big trend. I try and figure out, how am I going to connect with way more people in my database and outside of my database, whether they transact or not? Because if you do that, you're going to win in 2026.
There you go. And the last one, the rapid fire questions we have. What real estate role you think will disappear by 2030 in general?
By 2030, what real estate role will go away? I don't think many things will go away in the next, let's call it, whatever, 4 or 5 years. Everything will be enhanced though. Everything. If I said 10 years out, you're probably gonna have a robot doing your showings for you. I think that's gonna be typical. Hopefully in 10 years out, we push a button and buy the house, right? Like, the fact that we've got a multi-trillion-dollar industry, like, I can get on my phone right now and I can trade stocks, and I can do that in seconds. I should be able to trade houses the same exact way. So the first company that maps every detail about every house in the United States on the inside and outside, Zillow centered on the outside, Realtor.com centered on the outside, whoever maps the inside, did they have that next multi-billion-dollar business? So I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see that kind of stuff. But make no bones, you will be the center of the transaction. You, my friend listening, you will be the center of the transaction. As long as you're AI enabled, as long as you are AI enabled, because, do you really want to negotiate every deal by yourself? Do you really want to read through the contract to make sure it's accurate? Or you want to just, remove some of the personal details and upload it into a private GPT and say, tell me what inside this transaction needs to be adjusted in order to make sure we achieve X, right? The person that's using AI, it is only to change this business forever. And the ones that avoid it,
they're
probably going to not be in real estate for long.
Probably gone. All right. Now we have the next section, which is the clip-worthy hooks. You always say you don't have a lead problem, you have a follow-up problem. Can you expand just a little bit on that? What you mean by that?
So I kind of did when I told you about my client who lost 518 transactions after they went out and showed a house, right? And then that buyer bought from somebody else. That's a systems problem, right? So again, leads are not something I pay attention to. What I pay attention to is appointments. And so when I say those kind of things to people, what I'm telling them is, my wife would go to the hair salon, and my wife, every lady listening, you will appreciate this. There is no way you just walk out of the salon and go, okay, I'll call you when I'm ready for the next one, or hey, I'll ping you when I need highlights again. No, you're over there already putting it inside your calendar. So isn't it amazing that we will calendar our hair appointments, but we'll let a buyer who we just showed a house to, we'll say, okay, well, I'll reach out to you next week and we'll see what's going on next. That's why they fail.
Right.
So instead, it's like, hey, sir, so we looked at a couple of houses. It sounds like we didn't hit the mark. I'm going to go back to the office. I'm going to reach out to a couple of friends to see what some coming soons are inside my office, some other opportunities. Let's go and schedule a time to talk Monday at 5:30. Would Monday at 5:30 be a good time for you? Because by that time, I'll have new listings hitting the market. We'll be ready to pounce. Monday at 5:30 work for you? And every person I'm scheduling the next appointment. So when I wake up on a Monday, my schedule is peppered with appointments of people that I have in various states of getting ready to transact. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's what I do actually with my clients. I don't let them leave the call
Of course.
without a set appointment, date and time. And it usually works pretty
Bingo.
well. There you go. All right, perfect.
Bingo.
Appreciate it. $1 million question for you. Knowing everything you know now about marketing, technology, AI, what would you do if you have to start from scratch without using your name or reputation right now?
Well, the first thing I would do is I'd go to answer the public. I'd get every question that matters to consumers, and I'd probably be publishing 25 or 30 blogs a day that I would edit, that I would add details to. So I would crush the GEO search game. That'd be the first one. The second thing is I would be creating long form YouTube content that, of course, could be converted to podcasts like this. And then the long form content would be based around the questions on the minds of consumers. So I'd be the source of truth. And by the way, the videos got to be, call it 14 to 15 minutes on average, because if you study YouTube, after about 8 or 9 minutes, they begin to fall off, usually because ads start showing up in YouTube. So I'm going to do longer form content. So I'm going to at least get to that point that makes YouTube happy. And if I get them for 8 minutes and I give them all the insights they need, I'm winning. I'm going to probably study the migration patterns coming in and out of my marketplace to figure out where people are going. So, hey, the announcement recently, New York City, a lot of people are going to leave. They're going to go to Palm Beach. They're going to go to Miami. So I'd be like, if I was in Miami, I'd be shooting videos like, moving from New York City to Miami, here's the 5 things you need to know.
Right.
And I'd be doing a ton of content like that. And then unlike most, I would then take those and I would turn them into small ads that I would be running on YouTube. So as people are checking out, like, hey, did the Lakers win last night? They're going to see my ad. They're going to say, hey, moving from New York to Miami, here's the 5 things you need to know. Right? So I'm going to do a lot of that stuff. And then if I can't use, so by the way, all of that I can do without my name. I guess technically some blogging. I can do YouTube videos without me even as a star. They could just be, text YouTube videos. It could be graphic YouTube videos. It could be hey gen videos, just a avatar version of me. There's a lot of ways to do that. And then I would probably, from there, I think that's a pretty good start.
That's a pretty good start.
I have like 100 ideas to go through my head. Like one thing I love is launching and sales and marketing. So you asked me a big question. I could write a 3-hour show on that.
So I have a VA company, so I got to ask you this $1 million question. You've been very bullish on operational leverage all the time. So for team or team brokerages that uses VA and automation, how do you see AI plus VA integration in reshaping agent productivity and team scalability in the future?
So teams are probably easier to answer, because of VAs and AI. And let's virtual assistants and maybe an in-office assistant. Go ahead.
No, what I meant is, not teams necessarily, but teams that use VAs, right? So
I got you.
Okay.
The goal is, Serge. The goal is, if you're an agent on a team, the only thing you should be doing is meeting with clients.
Right.
So the only thing you should be doing is meeting with clients. So the virtual assistant can then do everything other than meet with a client.
I agree.
Right now, in fairness, they can't put a sign out. We know the things they can't do that, but like everything that is transactional, everything that is paperwork, everything that is the CRM, like I would just text my VA and be like, hey, I just met with Tom and Kathy Ferry. We looked at 3 houses on the West Bank in Jackson Hole. They didn't like, 1, 2, 3, 4 this street. They liked, Moose Road better, blah, 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 blah. Put it all inside there and let's send them an email just saying, hey, it was really great that we, evaluated, saw the properties, blah, 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 blah. Like the only thing an agent should be doing is selling. And I'll give you a fun stat for you to play around with, especially as a VA company. Studies show that salespeople spend no more than 25% of their time actually selling, AKA meeting with clients. Therefore, they spend 75% of their time doing other things. And you and I both know most agents, not all, some are super organized. Most agents, the 75%, someone else could probably do in half the time, maybe even a third of the time, maybe even in 20% of the time. So I would make the argument, the reason why it makes so much sense is salespeople should be in front of clients more often, and everything that can be automated should be automated. And everything that can be delegated to somebody else should be delegated. And that's why virtual assistants and showing agents, and, CRM, that's why it's also important.
Yeah, I know people are here to listen to you, but I could be a testament of that. I have also a flipping company. I flip houses. I don't do anything except negotiate with sellers and with my buyers. That's it. Everything else within the operations of that flipping company, which we're flipping around 40 to 50 houses a year, has been done by VAs.
Congrats.
And
of course.
And in the VA company, I meet with the managers on one-on-ones every week. It's about 45 minutes to an hour with every manager in the VA company. But other than that, I just meet with potential clients, and everything else has been done by the VAs within the VA company, right? So my week, it's all about getting more business and operational efficiencies. That's it. So in the same way, agents could, like you said, they should probably be doing that as well. They should probably just focus on the activities that produce the most amount of money to their business, and focus on efficiencies. All right, we made it to the end of the show. Just wanted to have a final message from you to the industry. If every real estate professional in the world were tuning in right now in this podcast, what would you say to them?
I would say you're enough. Your parents are proud of you. Keep up the good work. And just double down on your best stuff, like your secret sauce, right? Is it playing pickleball and meeting people? Is it expired listings? Whatever it is. And then I would probably counter that by saying, the world really doesn't need another agent that sells a house now and then. And I'm not knocking you if like this is your 5th career, or you got a full-time job and you also occasionally help one of your friends. I'm not saying that you're a bad person or you can't do it well. I am saying anything that we do that we want to be proficient, we want to be valuable, we have to do a lot of, right? You got to put in more reps. So I would say to everybody listening, put in more reps in 2026. Show more homes, do more open houses, make more calls, become proficient at what you do, negotiate more deals, win more business, lose more business, but don't stay stagnant and don't stay small, because the world doesn't need another small agent who just wants to do a deal now and then. I would actually say you could probably find more joy doing something else. Like, that would be my advice.
Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
I'm going to get in trouble for that one, by the way. I already know. So I know one person's going to be mad. I don't mean to make you mad. That's not my intent. I'm almost a Musketeer. Believe me. I got way too much joy in my heart. All right, Serge, I appreciate you, man. Look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Tom, thank you not just for your time today, but for the years of dedication, truth-telling, and generosity you brought to this industry. This conversation will stay with us for a long time. And to our listeners, if this episode challenged you, inspired you, or gave you clarity, please follow, like, share, and drop a comment. We've cracked a powerful code today, but the real work starts with what you do next. Until next time, keep showing up, keep evolving, and keep cracking the code.